Hello everybody, welcome back to my movie review series. Today we'll be discussing Volition. Just finished watching it for free on YouTube. You know how we do it. My constitutional rights are directly violated. I cannot collect my property to start a business. That's why I'm doing so much video content. I'm trying desperately to get a job or start a career, but people won't acknowledge that I exist, and it's absolutely literal fucking torture. Just nobody cares. Absolutely nobody's ever given a fuck about my life. So I'll give you another movie review. So you know we do it. Overall impressions and grade after reading the logistics as provided by Google. Plot, synopsis, and character development following the grade. So if you've not seen the movie, would like to based or not based on my recommendation, you're going to want to shut off the video. There will be spoiler alerts. And then any similar movies or major themes. So I'm so fucked by the end of summer. My life is just fucking ruined. I mean, it's always been ruined. I told people I wasn't learning anything for fucking 15 straight years, and they just said go to school and get a job, and now they don't give my piece of paper, so I can't get a job. It's disgusting. Whatever. It says, a man afflicted with clairvoyance tries to change his fate when a series of events leads to a vision of his own imminent murder. It's released in 2020 on July 10th. Has 49% liked it on Google, 3.5 out of 5 on Vudu, 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb. Google says why to watch. It's thrilling, psychological, and futuristic. You can watch it for free right now on YouTube. It's got an hour and 31 minute runtime. It is a science fiction / thriller. And that is about it. So overall, what did I think? I didn't like this one. It was mostly broken physics. The characterizations, like on some of these smaller budgets or, movies with the no-name, I don't say no-name actors, but just lesser-known people, it still doesn't bother me. Again, a lot of times the acting won't be convincing, but if there's anything interesting in the writing script, it will cause me to think, derive mathematics. But again, I still can't identify as a mathematician because people won't acknowledge that I exist. I'm the most prolific mathematician, musician in human history, and people just fuck me, just fuck me. So this one, didn't do much for me, a lot of broken physics. The characterization, like the actual acting wasn't terrible, I didn't think, but the overall plot was a super drag for me. It did absolutely nothing. It's a bunch of broken quantum mechanics. I do obviously like science fiction. If you can have a superpower, do something different, and then just have some sort of interesting writing script on top of that. I think that's a fertile ground for interesting writing scripts. But this one was just broken physics and then kind of like a shitty action movie and then kind of like some mundane commentary on do you have free will or is it all fate or how do you save somebody, something like that. So overall, I'm going to give it a D. I don't recommend this one. I did not find it entertaining. And so again, my grading scale has now evolved to F is I turned off the video, but since I'm creating content, that doesn't happen. D is off-putting where I don't recommend it. C is whatever. B is entertaining into the recommendation zone, and A is well done. So overall, D, if you've not seen it and would like to, there will be spoiler alerts. So the movie opens up, you meet James, who's walking down the street, picking up a pack of cigarettes that he knows is going to be left behind, and he's got some clairvoyance ability. He can, clairvoyance is you can kind of see the future, telepathy, you can read people's minds, time, teleportation is you can travel. And so he's clairvoyant, he can kind of, just kind of see bits and pieces of the future before they happen. Lives in an apartment, writes all the stuff down on his wall. You kind of open up. I think he works as like a car mechanic, or you don't really get his job or anything. But he's getting hassled by his landlord saying, you don't pay me my money. He's behind on rent. For whatever reason, when I start doing these, I start yawning. But he's behind on rent, and he's kind of in a pinch of what to do. So he sees this girl kind of getting beat up by this dude, and he goes over and he's clairvoyant. So he's like, it's time to get to where you're gonna punch me. And so he kind of frees this girl, helps rescue this girl. There's two dudes that kind of like jump in, and he rescues this girl named Angela. And so she kind of gets out of there. James gets beat up a little bit, goes back to his place, still gets hassled for the money, but then he goes to who's who? I think he goes to Ray. Yeah, Ray is some criminal, and he is got some deal with some Zimbabwe dudes to move some of these diamonds worth about $10 million, and James's take if he can help, use his brain. The other characters are aware that he's clairvoyant or has some sort of ability to see bits and pieces of the future. And he's like, if this deal goes well, you'll make $100,000. And so James sees the hand up of the diamonds as it's going to go well. So they give him the diamonds to kind of hold, which I'm not sure why. But regardless, he's in charge of the diamonds, and he gets a $2,000 advance. And so he goes back to his apartment, gets hassled by his landlord once again, and he gives him the money for the rent, and then for the next month as well. And then regardless, someone bangs on the door, and he thinks it's the landlord again, and he opens up, and it's Angela. And so when James had kind of like rescued Angela, he had, the dudes took his bottle of whiskey, and so Angela brought over a 6-pack, and she doesn't know nobody in town, and she wants to use his shower. So they kind of talk, have a beer, she goes to shower, and then the criminal kind of setup here is Ray is this dude that's a criminal, I guess, and also another dude, Sal and Terry, he knows Sal from before, and Sal's just gotten out of prison, and Terry is this dude Sal has met in prison, and so they kind of drive by and they see him, and they catch back up. That's how they introduce him to Ray for these diamonds. But once Angela comes back over, Terry and Sal decide to break in and basically screw over Ray, and Ray's like, James, if this deal doesn't go through, we're both dead people. And so Terry and Sal plan to break in and take the diamonds for themselves, I guess. So regardless, James hears somebody breaking into the apartment. Angela's in the shower. He runs into the bathroom like, we gotta go. Because there's no nudity. It is rated R. There's no nudity, some violence. Regardless, so they hightail it out of there. They get in the car, and then they drive away. So as they're driving, the car breaks down, and James is like, tells Angela, hey, there's a cop gonna come by, and he's gonna ask us, there's some steam coming off your engine, and there's a motel up to the right. And so this cop, and Angela's like, what are you talking about? And right as he says that, a cop pulls up and does exactly what he says is gonna happen. Again, the bits and pieces that he sees forward. And so Angela now picks up that he can, see the future or has some sort of special ability. So they go to this motel, they put the diamonds in this safe, and then they go out to eat at some diner or local restaurant. So as they're eating there's some commotion. Somebody knocks over the diner's plates, and they're just sitting there talking and eating their dinner. And so after that, they leave and go back to the apartment or to the motel, and it's all broken into and destroyed. So James once again feels like they're in danger, so they get back in the car, they start driving, and then they drive to Elliot's house. And so Elliot is James's stepfather. Yeah, I think it's his stepfather. His mother's not in the picture or in the movie. She passed away or got into a car accident. And so once James gets to Elliot's place, they're talking a little bit about Ray. He's like, Elliot's like, I told you, James, not to get involved with Ray. But regardless, Ray, Terry, and Sal all pull up rather quickly and start, interrogating them. So they take James and Elliot, they secure them in the basement, and Angela's upstairs. They hear some commotion outside. They think it's the Zimbabwe dudes. And then Angela decides she's going to try to fight back. She grabs a pair of scissors and goes to stab Sal, and Sal shoots her and kills her. And so right as that's happening, James sees this, and he's like peeking up through the basement floor gap between the door and the floor, sees Angela get killed, and right as that's happening, Elliot kind of comes from behind James and is like, I'm sorry about this, remain present, and everything will all make sense soon, and then injects him with some serum. And so once he injects him with some serum, he flashes back, or he basically now time travels. And so, and the clairvoyance is alright, time travel's alright, just the overall plot didn't do anything novel to me. It's really just a mundane commentary of do you have free will. And so then you get some explanation of the major plot of the movie. Elliot explains to James, again, quantum physics and time travel, and they injected this rat, Schrodinger's rat, and he time traveled and came back and demonstrated clairvoyance. And so James has clairvoyance because he's time traveling. And so overall, again, broken physics, I can get past that, and just nothing novel in the script, and plus broken physics, that's a dud for me. And so regardless, he injects James and he goes back, and he basically reruns the same kind of timeline, And basically a lot of the little nuances of the lead up was him. Basically the second dude that was fighting when Angela first gets jumped before it comes to this place is him. He's trying to rescue Angela. And then when they're back at the diner, the dude that made the commotion was James, time traveling to try to escape. And so regardless, that's really what kind of develops throughout the movie. So he goes back and he keeps trying to save Angela. So you rerun the whole thing. He's basically can't. So now you have two Jameses, and he's kind of like trying to stay away. The first self can't see the second self or something. Like they're not allowed to or something. I don't know. But regardless, he's just trying to run around and save Angela. And so he gets to the same kind of situation again. He time travels back to when he was a kid, and Elliot sees him. The little kid James is there, so he can see the older James. But he's like, just jumping around. Once he injects the serum, he can kind of time travel. And so, just trying to save Angela, he does that a couple times. And eventually it turns out there's 3 Jameses. And so, I don't know, there was not much to say about this movie. They just rerun kind of the same sequences once again. But James kind of is able, in the third attempt, he fights with Terry a bit. And Terry's is, the thug from the jail. And so he fights with Terry a little bit outside, is able to knock him down for a bit. And then Terry comes back in, and then one of the second or third James gets shot in the chest. And he's dying on the floor, and he tells Sal that Ray and Terry were planning to rip him off. And so Ray and Sal are cousins. And so, James is bleeding out on the ground, and Sal's like, is this true? And James is like, yes, they're going to rip you off. And so, Terry ends up shooting Sal. So Sal is now dead, and again, you can't keep up the time frames or the timelines because it doesn't make any sense. So, regardless, that's what happens, and then, there's some other bullshit scenes, and then finally, James is able to, again, the original timeline, Angela goes to try to stab Sal in self-defense or to fight to get out of the dangerous situation, and she gets shot in the chest. And now James is able to, a life for life push Angela or Sal just enough. And then there's another one of the timelines when there's something's ruffling outside in the woods. They think it's the Zimbabwe dudes, and it's really just James in a different timeline. He's got a gun. He tries to shoot Sal. He gets hit by another bullet that falls down from one of the other timelines when Terry drops his gun. But regardless, the resolution of the movie is he's able to somehow push Sal or Angela enough where she doesn't get shot in the chest, she gets shot in the shoulder, and it's implied she lives. And so he sacrifices his life, but you're not clear again. Is it all 3 James are now dead? Is it just the one in the future that doesn't know the past? So it was some clairvoyance, some time travel, and there was no continuity to the plot. So overall, it was off-putting to me. So I do not recommend this one. I did not find it entertaining. The plot was just incoherent. Characterizations weren't bad. No real off-putting characters. Just the plot to me was just very underdeveloped and made no continuous sense whatsoever. So overall, D. So that finishes up our movie review of Volition. But again, I am desperately, I am begging for constitutional rights. I am begging for somebody to help me. I am begging for an opportunity. I will do any job in any country that isn't, civil war in Sudan. Please let me have an opportunity to where I can live my life so I can feel safe and access social structures, healthcare, the ability to go to the grocery store and buy what I want, the ability to buy new clothes, the ability to comfortably pay my bills, the ability to have a family. Like I said, the people I'm begging for the money at a level where it's like I could never have a family, I could never go out to eat, I could never have any sort of leisure spending whatsoever at all. And people still will not treat me with enough respect to make $2,000 to $3,000 a month, literally. And so I'm open to anything, literally anything. My skill sets are, the most prolific, and anything in research. I can't. My life is fucked. My life is actually fucking destroyed. And when these tables turn, your children and your grandchildren that have stolen from me will be treated in the same manner you have treated me. No questions, no exceptions, none. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one if there is one.